Look at that smile. Look at that smile. Welcome, guys, to another episode of Artie.
The Lone Lounge.
There you go. There you go. I was trying to give you the cue, dude. It didn't work. I'm sorry. It's my bad.
It's okay, brother. It's because my microphone. I have to hold it here today. My little clip got broken.
I thought you were gonna tape it to your forehead or so.
I thought about it. I thought about putting my glasses, doing something to make this work.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. So, hey guys, thanks for joining us again. Another episode of the Lone Lounge with yours truly and Mr. Artie Barrera from Luxury Mortgage. Thank you all for joining us.
Absolutely.
And I think we wanted to do something a little different than we did last time. We want to do something. I know it's we've got a bunch of emails that a lot of you, obviously it's end of the month, and maybe I think we chose the wrong date to do this. Maybe we gotta do this earlier in the month because a lot of people are closing out the month and they're kind of worried about pipelines and stuff, which is completely understandable. And I'm sure, Artie, your emails are blowing up just like mine. So we're gonna make this one today a little bit more condensed, but we didn't want to miss the opportunity to talk to all of you guys. Today it's been a while, so today we wanted to focus on, I guess, what we get asked all the time. Hey, what are the do's and the don'ts? What are the goods and the bads? What should I and should I not do to get the loan through, to get the loan submitted, to get the loan closed, right, as soon as possible, right? So Artie and I worked out a bunch of different options. Again, we're going to condense it, otherwise we'll be here until end of the month, and we want to share those with you. So your turn, Artie.
Absolutely. I know everybody's really busy at the end of the month, but it's important. We wanted to share this information with you guys. I think it's important information and good takeaways. So I'll kick it off with the first one. So what is a do, right? A do that we love to tell all of our brokers is to use our quick quote. Why? Because our quick quote is readily available. You don't have to log into the portal. You go right to our website, luxurymortgagewholesale.com, and you put in your scenario. And it's a quick just drop down menu to give you the rate and give you all the possibilities that you could do with the borrower, whether you want to go with a 30-year fixed, whether you want to go with an ARM, whether you want to go with an interest only. So it's a great way to get your loans priced. A lot of LOs don't even realize you could do it right on your cell phone. If you're on the go, and it's a great way to, you can see what you could offer the borrower. So, and again, it's fast and easy. So I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but I know, Carlos, some of your brokers love it as well, and we get good feedback from it.
They do. And one thing I would say, Artie, and I think you may agree, that given this constant environment of changing rates and pricing, right? Do's and don'ts. I'll also say, don't just go by the pricing you see or the rate you see on our quick quote, right? Everybody kind of has a similar format or a similar online tool to price out your scenarios, like you said, Artie, right? You're on the phone, you're on the weekend. You're a lot of my builders, a lot of my lenders that do a lot of builder business. They're on site on the weekends, and they need to quote accurately for the broker for the customer. Excuse me. So I say use that as a guide, kind of a starting point. And of course, we got to look at credit and all that. But I would say reach out to us, right? Call Artie, right? Call myself, call your AE across luxury, whomever that may be, and have us double check that pricing just to be sure. Because a lot of times, you know how it is, right? You give them that rate, and you clicked on 24 months rather than 12, or you hit the wrong DTI, pricing changes, and now we have an issue on our hands. So we want to make sure that we give your customer the best and most accurate rate. And at the same time, I'll say this, and I don't know if people know this, but we're in a competitive environment, a competitive business. So if you have, right, already a loan estimate from another investor that we can try to match, and like I always say, not match it, we want to beat it, right? Because matching it, if you match it, they're going to stay where they are, right, Artie? And I know you get a bunch of those, like, hey, you guys are the best priced, but I got some other investor over here that's doing some crazy pricing. I want to work with you, Artie. You are the best. I know what your process is. I know you guys are reliable. Can you match this rate? Can you meet the rate? So I always say, just give us a call there. And Artie, what do you think about that?
Absolutely. And this, like you said, this market is so competitive. We don't want to lose business to anyone. But yeah, don't be discouraged, like you said, by the rates you see. Give us a call because anything's possible. Going back to your point, what if the DTI, could be a little lower? Maybe we can get you a better rate. What if the DSCR is more than one? Most people don't know. We actually reward our brokers and give you a better rate.
Good
So
point.
absolutely, communication with us is key. And that's what we're here for. Remember, a lot of loan officers don't. I like to remind them that we are an extension of their team. So count on us to help you get your scenario scrubbed, pre-qualified, and that way you can rest assured when you call your borrower that you're giving them the best foot forward that you can offer. Absolutely.
Yeah, Artie, and with that, I know the first loan lounge we did, I got some slack from somebody that we didn't mention, and I promised that person that we'd shout him out on this one, and I want to set a shout out to who's that?
Michael Nuzzo.
Michael, the man Nuzzo, who a lot of my brokers don't know. Anytime I have a tough scenario, that they're all unique, right? Every story is every loan is a story, and we got to kind of piece it together. And I would say my second call is usually to you, Artie, but my first call is usually to Michael Nuzzo, and with the scenario, and he brings 100 years of mortgage knowledge. I think I think he's gonna get mad because I said that. He brings a lot of knowledge, right?
Yes.
To luxury, and he I love how the way he kind of steps back from the scenario, and he can see all the options. Like, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Helps me structure that loan properly to go back to ask the right questions to our broker, right? So it's kind of like getting us involved. Like you said, we're one of your teammates to the broker, one of the teammates. So again, for me personally, shout out to Mr. Nuzzo, who's probably in Aruba or in some tropical island right now. He's still working, but I know he's somewhere outside of the U.S. right now, right? I think that's where he is. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. But yeah, I would say that kind of like what Artie was saying was that use us to look at your deals, right? To scrub your deals. I always say you would never send your borrower shopping without a DU, right? Or an LPA or an LP, right? Like if you're gonna go conventional, what do? You run their LP, you run the DU, you get your findings. So I think we are your human DUs, right? Your human LPs. So I always encourage my brokers, please use us because we're going to scrub your loan. We're going to see potential pitfalls and how to work around them and what we may need to come around those pitfalls to make sure we have a seamless loan process that's going to close. And if it's a no, Artie, right? If it's a no, we can't do it. Hey, can't do it.
Can't do it. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, one of the few things also that's beautiful about us in luxury, as you said, we are the human DU and LU, LP, DU. We can ask for exceptions. Sometimes you may not realize it, but it's still a deal that has compensating factors where we can ask for an exception up front before you even submit the loan. So, and that happens a lot of times. Sometimes you have to think a little bit outside the box, but the deal still makes sense. So it doesn't mean that we're sticklers to the guidelines. We can make exceptions. So it's important, like you were saying. When we look at this, we may see it, they may not. The loan officer may not see it, but there's always a way to help and think outside the box. And that's one of the things I love about our team. We have a nice panel, head of underwriting. We have Kevin. We have Kim.
Shout out to Kevin.
We have Tammy and a lot of people don't know, but behind the scenes, we have a great team of a lot of experience that helps us get, some of these files done. Whereas somewhere else, they probably will never let that fly or make it happen. But here we have a nice panel of a lot of expertise. So absolutely, even if you think the scenario doesn't fit the guides, give us a chance because you never know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of times people kind of forget the importance of having a truly non-QM dedicated team to help your loan through. And you mentioned Kim, and Kevin and Tammy and Cece and Rebecca. I love Rebecca, and Becky, the whole team. And they're truly non-QM focused underwriters and credit risk managers. And we get a lot of loans already, right? I would say, how many do we get all the time? Like, hey, I went to such and such lender, and they're really an A paper lender, kind of, masquerading as a non-QM lender. So just simple stuff that we see all the time we're okay with. and they lose loans all the time because of their approach, because their underwriter is just an A paper underwriter and doesn't really take that approach. They kind of use the, well, what does my mental DU say? And they don't think out of the box. Artie, what do you think about that? Isn't that kind of
Yeah, we see it all the time. They make no exceptions. If it doesn't fit their guidelines, the deal's done. And then guess
done?
what? Guys like you and me, we get the deal. And since we've seen this before, you and I, we know the appetite that luxury has. For us, that's not a big deal. We can make the deal work. So it happens all the time. And like you said, they're an A paper trying to do non-QM. So stick to what you're good at.
Exactly. I get a lot of loan officers and another like do or don't or whatever. It's kind of do what you do, stick to what you're good at. I get it. It's convenient maybe to use certain lenders and all that you think it is, but you know, on the non-QM side, it's really a story, right? And a lot of these people, a lot of their systems, a lot of their processes are not built for that. They try, and so they do a good job. I'm not saying they don't, um, but I get a lot of seasoned LOs. Already, would you think that say, hey, I tried this route and it just doesn't work, man. I mean,
Right.
I've tried, and it's not really the rate because we kick their butt in rate. Can I say that? Yes, I can. Yes. But we can kick. We're more competitive than those guys in rate. But it's not about that. It's ease of use, and they think, well, I'll just send it over to them because they do all my Govy stuff, and I just and all my season loan officers, like I said, come back and say, hey, man, you know what? There's a reason you guys are there. There's a reason you guys are the experts over here. Yes. Let the experts do their thing in each field. If I want a truck, I'm gonna buy a truck. I'm not gonna buy a little regular sedan. There's a reason why we got different vehicles, and I kind of equate it to that. Artie, what do you think?
Absolutely. We are the experts in the non-QM space. This is the space that we eat, sleep, and breathe every day, every month. We've been doing this also for quite some time. So we're very familiar with the do's and the don'ts, like our topic today. So, and some of the other lenders, they mentioned they'll never touch non-QM because, like you said, Govy was really their stuff, but they saw that there's, profit to be made in our space. However, we are the experts in the space. That's why we have a panel to make exceptions. And, we don't just say, hey, these are the guidelines, and if it doesn't stick here, we will never do the loan. And that's what makes the difference. See, in non-QM, you have to have flexibility.
Good word. Yep. I like that word. And I think that now with rates, hopefully, obviously, kind of coming back to normal and stuff, I see, and I've spoken to a lot of my brokers that a lot of their A paper companies that are doing non-QM are going to kind of shift back to what they know, and they're going to put their assets, right, and their resources back into the Govy space, and kind of leave the non-QM aside. So that's kind of an opportunity for us in a way, but in another way, it's for us. It's like it's kind of good, not even volume wise. It's kind of better, just like, hey, just kind of stick to what you're good at, there's a reason why, like I said, Kim and Kevin and Mike and these guys have been doing this so long, and this A paper underwriter just started, a year ago doing non-QM, and it just and I know it kind of sets up my broker for failure, and then we get the call, right? Like, hey, I got 3 days to close a loan, Artie. What can you do? And then how do you handle that call, Artie? Tell me the truth, man. Because I get a lot of those, and I know you do.
A lot of those, a lot of fallout. Unfortunately, that's the majority, right, of the business we do get. Where brokers like, oh, I heard you can close loans fast, Artie. Can you save me? But listen, we are fast. We do have a fast pass, right? So one of the do's on our topic.
Bingo! Hey, nice intro there.
Is the fast pass. So I always like to set expectations with the broker. So yes, Mr. Broker or Mrs. Broker, right? We do have an option to get your loan approved in 24 hours and close your loan as fast as 10 days. However, there's a checklist, which we call the fast pass checklist. You have to give us everything on that list in order to make it happen. And it's a great way to set expectations. However, if you don't give me everything on the list, I can't make it happen that fast. We're still fast. We closed most loans, I would say, 17 days. You broke a couple of records. You've done one, in 11 days, was it?
11 days.
I've done a few also very fast. So we move fast here, guys. But it really is about, what you give us. Like everything else in this business, right? You give us a slim file, you're gonna get a lot of conditions. You give us a full file, you get very little conditions. But yes, the fast pass is a great way, especially if you're working with builders or if you have a loan that's in a rush. It's a great way to work with us, and a lot of people are not taking advantage of it. You know that even my brokers, as much as I push it out there, there's only a handful that really are taking advantage of the fast pass.
Yeah, Artie, and one thing that I would say, because we're talking about the do's, and I want to talk about one of the don'ts, and which kind of slows the process down a little bit, is the bank statement review, right? Artie, we do those for them, right?
The bank statement review, yes. So one of the things that I've been seeing a lot is a lot of brokers are sending me the 1003, the credit report, but they're giving me an Excel sheet that they calculated the income.
Exactly.
And we want to make sure that they know that that's not something they need to do. So it's a don't for us. Don't bother doing that. Don't waste your time. We have experts that are going to do that for you. And we look at little things too. We look at like NSFs, some things they may miss. We give you, a couple options of how to calculate the income, whether you want to use a CPA letter or you want us to use 50% expense. So I would say don't worry about that. Send us the bank statements. We will handle that for you so that we know exactly how to guide you and then use the proper and correct income. Because we don't want you to make a mistake. Because that mistake could be, you and I both know, could be costly. Especially with DTI and all that good stuff. So, that don't try to do it on your own. You have us here and we'll help you get that calculated. And turn times are pretty fast at 24 to 48 hours. No big deal. And we'll get that done for you guys. So it's a good way for us to get, all this stuff, especially bank statement loans. It's a good way for us to get the correct income, get the loan submitted, and then get that loan closed. So I love when the income comes in. One of the things we do when the income comes in, we put the whole deal together. We want to look at the credit report. We want to know where the borrower has been living over the last 12 months, because we don't need rental history or housing history. If the borrower is paying it, then yes, we want to see it. But if they're not, that's fine. And we can go all the way to 90 LTV. Most people don't know that. So when the income comes back is when I like to put everything together, and of course pricing, so we know exactly what the DTI is. And then
And
after
we
that,
can
I
do,
want you to submit that loan and we just get it closed. Let's get it closed.
Artie, there's no added on to pricing, right? For the no housing, right? Because I know I get that question asked a lot. Is there an
No,
additional, rate add on or pricing?
not at
Because
all. Not at all. That's one of the cool things we do here. Where there is no additional rate pricing. It's funny, the 1003 is the key, right? That's where you interview the bar. So if you write on that 1003 that the bar is paying rent, then yes, we're going to ask for it. But if the borrower is paying cash or rent or living with family and they're rent free, that's okay for us. But make sure on the
you taught me
1003
that,
you
by the
don't put
way.
that. You don't put that they pay rent if they don't,
You taught me that, Artie.
or pay cash. Because then we're chasing how we're going to prove that, right? There's no way to prove the cash. So yeah, we don't need housing history and there is no add-on. So it's really cool.
I think that, yeah, just based on that, like that's one of my don'ts, right? Like I get that call often, like they waste the customer, my broker invests so long trying to calculate income, and then they do their own logic and this and that, and all that. So I say, just let us do it. We'll, with your help, of course, right? We'll help you. But let me take that off your plate, so that way, it's like our way of reviewing tax returns, right? When you do your
Right.
tax return review, we do our bank statement review, and it's kind of like the same process. We want to have something that we can use to go into underwriting, because again, we want to have something that's accurate. So when it goes into underwriting, we don't have DTI issues and all that. So again, that's one of my don'ts. That definitely, let us review your income first, and then
Correct.
we come back to you. And also, our 24 months bank statement already is priced much better. Not about much better, but usually better than our
Yes.
12. So I always say, just get me the extra 12, right? I mean, it's worth it, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. 24 months is better, like you said. And in this competitive market, right? Anything better is great. So we want to make sure people know that. And every bar is different. Some unfortunately 24 months doesn't work out. We have to go 12. So that's why we have the 12-month option. If it works with 24, then great. We go with 24-month option. So, we want to make sure we qualify the bar in the best way possible.
Already, question for you. So another do for me. And I know we have our favorite marketing rock star on the line there. She's usually just on the back there. She doesn't she doesn't wanna she doesn't want to talk much, and
Yep.
I get
Shout out
that.
to Jennifer.
Shout out to Jen. Free marketing. What do user marketing, right? Do user product marketing. It's all done for you. Sometimes, like you said, I always ask my customers, it's all done for you. It's here and it's free for you. You have the we do it for you. Jen takes care of the logo. If you want a co-brand, we'll do it all for you. So I just see a lot of my loan officers sometimes like, hey, I got to get the word out. I I want to get the right verbiage and the right guidelines. I'm like, we have it for you. So
Yes,
do right. Use our free marketing.
absolutely. Maybe people don't realize, but we can actually brand. We take their branding. We don't mention luxury mortgage. We take their branding and we make a nice flyer for them with our non-QM products. This way, this ties in into one of the don'ts, right? So don't invite your realtors without having you or I there, where you and I can actually do a presentation. So it goes hand in hand, right? You want to have the co-branded flyers, but guess what? Who are your customers, right? Our originators is their realtors, our referral partners. What better way to have you and I do a presentation for them? We get something good to eat, sometimes something good to drink, not too much, right? Because then nobody will remember anything. But just have a great time and show people other ways of putting borrowers in homes, you know, and with these wonderful products that we have. So I would
Yeah, we
definitely tie those two in together. And
yeah
for
we
those
do a
that
lot
don't
of
know, book with Carlos, book with me. Um, put us in front of your realtors. Let's go and put us in front of your customers. It's a
absolutely.
great way to bring business to that door.
Yeah, we meet them. We meet our agents all the time, right? Like at Namba, right? We were at Namba. We got an award for a contribution or a company contribution, not just us. A company's contribution in partnership with Namba recently, and I think that gives us kind of an insight to the market, right? Like I tell people, like use that to get us in front of your realtors because we've been interviewed, Artie, right? We did an interview the other day. We had that nice little headshot that you took, Mr. Professional. Uh
Yeah, I
and
needed to update mine.
we got a lot of calls on that. A lot of good publicity. Because again, we what we do, we're not doing mortgages. We're like you said, Artie, right? We're putting people in homes. We're building generational wealth, right? A home and an investment probably they can leave to their kids and their ancestors and all so on and so forth. Um, but like I say, that this for us is not just a closing or a transaction or a commission check or anything like that. This is more like our contribution. Again, I don't want to sound too sappy, but it's my contribution, our contribution to the world, right? To our economy,
Absolutely.
to our neighborhood, to our state, our cities, or towns, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So use us to talk to those agents that may be a little bit hesitant to work with you, to work with a loan officer. Because anybody, I don't want to say anybody because I don't want to belittle the profession, but a lot of people do, you know, Freddie, Fannie, what a Govy stuff, right? It's like, I hear loan officers or realtors all the time, anybody can do that. And
Right.
I get it. It is kind of popular, but you have to leverage Artie's experience, my experience, your local account executive's experience, even if it's a Zoom or, we'll travel to your market, and let us present with you. We don't give out our business cards. We don't say, hey, call Carlos or call Artie. And no, we are an extension of you. Again, right? Kind of like what we said in the beginning, right? We're your partner. Consider us a part of your team, and that goes with our presentations. And I guarantee you, Artie, I think we will speak to those agents and give them that FOMO that we always talk about, and we will drive so many questions and so much interest your way that it'll be worth it. Artie, what do you think about
Yeah.
that?
You know what's funny, Carlos, and interesting is a lot of it's been my experience after you're done with these meetings or you're presenting to, these realtors, a lot of them fit into our programs themselves.
Yeah,
Why? Because they are a self-employed borrower. So a lot of times the broker will at least minimum get one loan from one of these realtors,
it's
you
true.
know, and it'll either be a DSCR, right? Or a 1099 program to buy a primary home for themselves or refinance or DSCR. It's crazy. So that's been my experience. Like bare bones minimum, that's the bonus. Now you get to help your referring partner, So it's crazy what you see. But yeah, I love non-QM because I used to work at a bank, Carlos, and I was the mortgage banker, right? For Wells Fargo and JP Morgan Chase. And I used to deny my best customers, the ones who had successful businesses, had the most balances. But man, we wanted to see tax returns, right? Working for those banks. And to this day, it's still like that. So I appreciate NotCam so much because those are the customers we're helping now, putting them in homes, like you said, you know, they're underserviced, right? Because these big name brands, they don't have these options that we do. So that's why, you know what, I really enjoy helping people with these programs. And like you said, the home ownership, the generational wealth. I grew up with parents that they couldn't afford a home. So as me getting into the business, that's how I learned about all this credit, income, home ownership. So yeah, man, I'm very happy and proud to be able to be put in this position, to help people get into homes. It feels great. Feels great.
Audience, speaking of credit, talk to me about pulling credit. Do or don't?
So guess what? We here at Luxury Mortgage, we don't pull credit. So what does that mean, right? When the broker pulls the credit, as long as it's good within 90 days, they can submit the loan to us and we use the broker's credit report. So yeah, guys, we don't pull credit again here. Once you pull your credit, as long as it's good for 90 days, guess what? We'll use that credit report to underwrite your loan and get it all the way through. And guess what? We even have a little bonus for you. Let's say you have the time to increase the FICO score. We will gladly take a new tri-merge and give you either a higher LTV that you may need or a lower rate. So I don't know if everyone knows that we do that, but we do.
That's not common in the market. That's not common. So
correct, not common. See, another nugget to help you guys get more loans done and closed.
Artie, I think that is a huge benefit, right, for us. And I tell all my brokers the same thing. I'm like, don't have to pull credit because I get that question all the time, right? And then what happens if the score drops and then you pull and I pull and now they don't qualify, and it's just kind of like this push and pull that we go through. So I think that's a huge benefit for us. And I think we had one more don't from our list of 200 don'ts. I think that we got. And I think we're good on time. We've got a few more minutes now. Our last don't, I think, is something related to appraisals, right? Appraisals. Yes. I know, take that, Artie. I know you're always, you taught me that appraisal fact.
Yeah. So most lenders, if your loan amount is $1 million, $1.5 million, you need 2 appraisals to get the loan done. Here at Luxury, our rules are a little different. We only need 1 appraisal up to $2 million. So it saves your borrowers money. It saves you time, right? Because now you're not waiting on 2 appraisals to get done. You only need 1. And guess what? Up to 2 million, that's pretty aggressive. And we can get the loan done fast, especially if you do that fast pass. We can get this loan done very quickly. So yeah, that's a huge benefit. It saves you time and money. And time and money nowadays is a win-win.
So, and we can take appraisal transfers, right?
Absolutely. As long as it was done by an AMC on our 1 to 4 units, we take appraisal transfers all the time.
I think we have Jennifer mentioned that we have a question, I think, from one of your brokers. I know we've got a bunch of them, and this is being recorded, so I will send this out to all my contacts. So we're already end the month. Like I said, some people unfortunately had other events to attend. One had a funeral. Sorry about that, Julio. But we will send this out to everybody. But I think Jennifer had that question. Did you take that question, Artie? But
yeah, so that question was, does Luxury Mortgage have we come out with any new products? That was the question, and the answer is yes. So Luxury Mortgage did come out with Prime Non-QM. Prime Non-QM is lower LTVs, so the LTV is 70% max. High FICO scores, guys. We're talking maybe 740 plus. And if the borrower fits into that bracket, loan amounts like $2 million. The pricing, if the bar fits into this Prime Non-QM, is absolutely crazy.
It's amazing. Yep.
So going back to our quick quote, if you guys want to price one of these Prime Non-QM products, please do. But yes, that's our newest product. If you guys have questions, you can email me, email Carlos. But we're very excited to have rolled this out. Also, the minimum loan amount is $500,000 for this Prime Non-QM product, guys. So if it fits this Prime, you guys will be very pleased with how aggressive the rate is.
It is. I was shocked. I priced a few out, and brokers called me and they're like, "Hey, man, there's a glitch. There has to be a glitch in the system because you're backing into like Chase pricing and Wells Fargo private banking pricing and all that." And I said, "No, that's the right one. Let me do it with you." But it is accurate. Obviously, this is for your customer that, like you said, has a little bit cleaner credit history. And is looking for a little bit of a lower LTV. Maybe they want to they have a little more money down. They just sold their home, they sold their business, they have a little more equity. And I mean, the rates are fantastic. Obviously, I see these flow rates, and I won't even mention the numbers in case they change again and they get lower. But yeah, I mean, again, I price it out myself, and I'm like, I call Nick. I'm like, "Hey, man, is this accurate?" So and I get a lot of that. It's like, "All right, let's lock it." My broker calls and there's like, "How soon can I lock it?" All right, let me review the file. I need to lock it now. So they see the advantage. So that's a cool product that I think your customer asked about.
Absolutely, and we have it. We're DSCR. We have it 1099. We have it bank statement. So in case anybody has one of those scenarios, please do. When you mentioned Nick, that's another guy we have to definitely shout out. Many people don't know, behind the scenes how he supports us, the sales team, and makes it happen here at Luxury Mortgage. Always out there making sure we have, best pricing, great guidelines to make life easier for all these originators, and get these loans closed. So Nick, what do you call him? You give him a nickname.
The architect.
The architect, yes.
Yeah, Nick Kraus. On that the Bulls, the championship, the 6 championship rings together. But yeah, it's true. I tell my brokers all the time, I'm like, "Hey, you have no idea how many people are working behind the scenes to support you. This isn't just like, and I challenge a lot of my brokers, and I say, all right, talk to your other lender, see how long they've been working in the business, tell me their experience, right? Look at their systems, look at who's handling your loans, and then let me show you about. Let me talk to you about my team, and I'm glad to put up my team against their team, because I know what my team does, and my team every day, the rates going up, the rates going down, and like I said, Nick, right? Nick is always telling us, "Hey, here's what the market, the outlook is. Call your brokers." And we know from knowing and working with maybe other companies in the past that it doesn't work like that in other places, right? It's more secretive. It's more like sending into the corporate office, and then we'll see what happens. We have Nick, and we have again Kim, and we have Kevin, and we have David, and we have Robert. We have everybody, like all hands, into the deal, like at the deal level, right, which is it's just cool. Like, hey, I have a deal, and the top guy knows about my deal, and the top gal knows about my deal, which is kind of cool. Especially given our pipeline and how much volume we do. That's how kind of all in we are as a company, and I love that about luxury, that we're really, really all in. And some AEs don't like that. Some AEs want to operate on an island, right? And we're kind of not like that. So again, shout out to the architect for putting
absolutely that. Shout out to the architect Nick Farina, and I also want to shout out my team. The successful AE can never do anything on his own, right? We need a good support system. So my girls, Jill, Rosie, all the underwriters that you've mentioned, without them, we couldn't do what we do. So it's awesome. It does start with us. But that team, man, that team love, that team effort, that's how we get these loans closed. And I'm so happy with my team. It's the best team. Like you said, we'll put this team against anybody's team any day.
So I learned yesterday from Jill. Did you know Jill's, she had another last name. Her last name was Tasker, and then her middle name was Multi. So Jill Multitasker.
I did not know that. That is hilarious.
Ask her that. I was like, she was like, "Hey, did you know this?" I'm like listening. I'm like, multitasker, like a multitasker? And she had me for like maybe like 30 seconds. So Jill the multitasker, love her. Love working with her and my team as well. And of course, Jackie, aka Jay Quellen, who's awesome as well. Artie, how do we wrap this up? Anything else you want to talk about? Again, we want to make it short. Everybody has to go back to your pipelines and your calls and your closings and stuff. But I'm signing out with that. So Artie, you close us out, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy that we got to do this for you guys. I know it's the end of the month, but the one takeaway I would say is if you haven't branded your flyers yet, please do that. If you haven't scheduled, your lunch and learn with your realtors, please do that. At least those are the takeaways. You know what, guys? Why? Because we're about to end the month, and this would be a great way to start the next month. Put Carlos and I in front of your best customers, for your best realtors. Let's bring some more loans in. Let's get ready for the this last quarter. Why not?
Absolutely, it's gonna get fun.
Yep. That's basically it. I hope everybody learned something today, and that's all Artie, the one man party, has for you guys.
And we'll see you guys very soon. And we got to work on something, another topic for the next month. I guess I'm gonna start asking my brokers what they want to know about, and we'll share it soon.
Absolutely. Great, like always, Carlos.
Thank you, Artie.
Got it, my brother.
Bye, guys.